Oh, man.
Damn it, Camaro, shut up.
This is going to be a fun one tonight.
All right.
Are we backstage right now? Hello.
All right, here we go.
Finally, Friday night. Hello, everybody. What's going on out there in the world? This is the Decibel Geek podcast. We're doing our Friday night live. Aaron Camaro is my name, joined by Chris Sinzak, my co-host on the Decibel Geek podcast, and from Decibel Geek TV, Rockin' Ron Runyon. What's going on, brothers?
Who came dressed for the occasion?
Yeah, he did. I was commenting on that backstage before the show started. Like, Ron, you look great tonight. Our guest is going to love you.
I'm not giving away who our guest is, am I?
He looks great from the neck down.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got a pretty cool hat, too.
What's up, Mighty K?
Mighty K, starting it off with us from the very top.
Very cool. All right. So, Aaron, welcome back.
Thank you.
Missed you last week.
I missed you guys too. I feel bad whenever I got to miss a Friday night, and the last couple of weeks have been insane for me. This is my socialing right now because I haven't barely had time to look at my Facebook or my messages or anything. It's been all about work for the last 2 weeks, but there was no way that I was going to miss 2 weeks in a row because, man, we have so much fun on Friday nights when we do this with Decibel Geek and Rock and Ron with Decibel Geek TV, and we go live Friday nights. So much fun. I can't miss it. I'm so glad to be back.
Mighty K, heard you snorting. So are you taking after Rock and Ron now?
I told you to shut up. I'm going live.
Too funny.
Yeah, we were laughing. It's funny, Ron and I have been on here for a minute already, and it's funny because we just started shooting the breeze, and we're talking about music, we're talking about DJing, we're talking about all kinds of stuff, and it's like, oh man, here's Chris, and we got 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I was very last minute today.
Yeah. Leave it to Chris to come in right at the last second.
Well, I'll say, don't work in medical billing when you get fucking called at 6:45 going, hey, this payment has to get posted. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Joey's working from home. Shut off their phone.
In fairness, the payment was for $750,000, so it was kind of important.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
That ain't my medical biller, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you got to have some serious tumors to have a bill that big.
Wow.
Hey, Anthony Roush, how are you doing? So, all right, so what's everybody drinking tonight?
Oh, look at this thing. It's a Coors Light, but it's kind of tall. I like every time I lean back, I feel like John Elway making a pass or something.
Yeah.
I know you like that, Chris, from the Rocky Mountains, cold Coors Light.
Fucking
and I'm boring. I do the same thing all the time. A nice homemade Bloody Mary. I love it.
Nice. Ron, do I even have to ask
Johnny,
what you're drinking?
Good to see you again.
It's the Jaeger
water.
Lots of ice.
Water with lots of ice, yeah.
It's Dr. Pepper. Don't let him fool you.
I'm drinking
Jaeger with a lot of frozen water in it.
This is Wicked Weed Pernicious, and it's a
Wicked Weed.
Yeah.
What?
It's a snooty IPA beer.
Is it made with hops and buds?
Let me tell you, because I looked up, there's a site called Beer Advocate where people leave their reviews on beers. And this tells you how seriously people take beers.
Uh-huh.
This is one of the reviews from a guy called Max Brews from Massachusetts. Taste and feel. This is where the beer comes alive. A very complex melange of hop flavors ranging from the old school earthy pine and dank and tropical fruit. It's really running the gambit of flavors that can be extracted from the hop. This beer seems pretty tame and light up front, but absolutely crushes you with a dying bitterness. I absolutely adore bitter IPAs. It's perhaps a bit drier than I'd like, but in terms of fitting into the West Coast IPA style, it's 100% on the mark. So
Wow.
take it from Max Brews. I like it so far.
Yeah, I don't want a bitter dying in my beer, so I'll stick with the Coors Light.
It's no Coors Light. I'll give it that.
Looks like you have to give your Facebook user spiel again. Chris.
Yeah. Well, if you're commenting on Facebook, go into StreamYard and like give them permission or whatever, and give them your blood type and your underwear size and all that, and it'll show your name, because otherwise it just says Facebook user. So whoever said Happy Rockin' Friday, we don't know who you are.
We don't even know.
Yeah.
But we say Happy Rockin' Friday to you as well.
Homemade banana milkshake. That sounds good, actually.
It does sound good.
Jaeger needs to be warm, says Bushy.
Not according to Mighty K. I have to have a bunch of ice.
Oh, man. Jägermeister made me puking drunk one time. I can only drink it mixed with Red Bull now.
My routine used to be I'd get off work.
Yes, you did, Johnny.
I used to
You
get
bet
off work.
Decibel Geek TV.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. Go ahead.
Did he bring his boy Elroy? That's the real question. No, my routine, I used to cook at Pizza Hut, and then I would get off work, go to the bar, a place called McGillicuddy's. It was an Irish bar. And my routine was double shot of Jaeger and then Bud Light after that. And like 2 of those, and I was good to go. Back in my less snootier days. Lucky the R is there in Pernus. What is Pernus? I don't know what that means.
Lucky the R is there. You don't get it?
You said something about Pernus.
Something about penis is what he's talking about, but I don't know what Pernus is.
The R is there.
He's talking about pernicious. This is pernicious. It's not Pernus. I'm not drinking penis.
It's penis beer. Very delightful.
Good lacing on the glass.
Oh, man. Glazed.
We're off to a rolling start.
We always have to stop for a minute and make fun of Chris's beer.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. No Red Bull and drink it by the shot.
Man, that stuff did me in doing it that way one time. I don't
Nice
think I
to
could
see
ever
you
do it
again.
again.
Oh, nice to see you again. Well, either way, ice are nice. Everybody's got to give me shit about ice here.
That's cool. Johnny Jetson looks like a rock and roller.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Is he in a band too?
He was in Tattooed Millionaires when I met him. I know he's doing some stuff on his own right now.
Cool.
Yeah, really cool guy.
Yeah,
cool.
keep us aware of that.
Good
You might
find
find yourself on Smash or Trash someday. Let us know. Yeah.
I've actually, one of our Smash or Trash candidates tonight reached out to me directly, and I listened to it. I'm like, that's pretty good. I'm going to play it on Smash or Trash tonight.
Okay. I hope we like it.
I hope so too. I liked it.
That's always the fear. You like somebody reaches out to you, and then the next week they go, geez, thanks a lot, jerk.
Yeah. Tracy's back to promote Souljacker again. She was here last week. Tracy, I know you emailed us. We'll check out the music and we'll get back to you if we're interested. Thank you, though. I think it's a UK rock band. I haven't listened yet, but we'll find out.
Checking it out.
Kool-Aid and cheap vodka. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble.
That sounds like a hood party. I liked I like this one. Bushy says guest lineup at Rockin' Pot is banging. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Working hard on it.
You got a couple more to announce tonight too.
Do I? Oh, you mean since last week?
No, a couple more even after that. I think maybe. There's a couple that are going to be coming out in the next week.
I added a couple that you announced this week.
Well, let's talk about this one first. Our good friend Anthony Quarters coming back from tour.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people in the world.
Shoot, yeah. One of the nicest guys we've ever met.
Yes. If you haven't listened to the Wild America
for you, I
Unleashed,
downloaded those pictures before you came on at the last second here. So,
well, you're the producer.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's your job. Come on.
That's what we hired you to do without pay.
We're the talent, remember? All right. And then this was the
I know Lilac, but
yeah.
I've played them on the show before. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at trying to bring at least one of them up here for that. First number one.
Wow, that's an accomplishment these days.
Johnny. Send us some music, man. And then the big announcement this past week, which, you know, Aaron knows I've been trying since year one to get this to happen, was Billy Sheehan is going to be joining us this year at Rockin' Pod.
Heck yes.
I can't wait.
Yeah, man. Billy Sheehan, that dude. My wife asked me, you know, and she's not into the rock and roll like we are. She asked me who Billy Sheehan was, and I was like, well, let me explain this. Because she knows Van Halen. I said, so when David Lee Roth left Van Halen, he basically had to form the greatest band of all time in order to compete with Van Halen. And that's when in his mind is what he was doing when he put together the band for Eat 'Em and Smile. So out of all the bass players on the whole planet, David Lee Roth knows he's got to get the best one. He picked Billy Sheehan. What more do you need to say?
Yeah,
and that's one of about 100 bands that he's been in.
Right.
Yeah. Check out Talus and Talus, Niacin, Sons of Apollo, Winery Dogs, you know, tons of stuff.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. You know, get a subscription to Bass Player magazine or something and wait. Just wait a couple of weeks. He'll be on the cover.
Yeah, you pretty much will. Oh, geez. Look at fucking Bushy. Billy, Tommy Skio, and Don Jameson got this dick hard. I don't know that I want to hear about makes your dick hard, but I'm glad you're excited.
I'm glad he said it.
It's funny.
Wow, nice.
Just makes your sundial point north. Scott Warwick, wish I could make it a rocket, but I doubt the border will be. I hope so. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we're hoping.
We have some Canadian friends that want to come down for it, so you know we'll see what happens. I'm optimistic. I think things are going to get back to normal closer than.
Yeah, if we can smuggle in the Canadians, we can get anybody in for Rockin' Pod.
Yeah, I want to get Rich and Wally to come back down here for sure. Been trying to talk to him, and because Aaron has to defend his Canadian title.
Good luck, everybody.
I'll go up and kidnap them if I have to.
You'll get lost in the airport like you did before, though, Ron.
Well, I didn't say I'd be quick about it.
But I would be glad to put my title on the line, for I am the most Canadian of all Americans.
You are.
I
performed very poorly in the Canadian Inquisition. I did terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got maybe I think 1 or 2 right. Although from what Rich and Wally told me, Aaron was the only person who got like more than 3 right.
Yeah, it wasn't easy either way, but I am the most Canadian American, so.
I actually didn't even do it. They wanted me to do it and kept trying to do it, but I was running around so much.
You were chicken. I understand.
I didn't get the chance to meet up with them, so.
Ron was making porn with Drew Rose.
I was auditioning.
Yeah. That's why he lured the Rockin' Pod. It was all part of his plan to audition for porn.
He was getting his length test. Oh man. So we're already up on 7:15 already, and it looks like our guest is already backstage. Ron, you want to know?
Already?
Nice.
Yeah,
right,
it looks like he's already ready to come on the show. So, Ron, you want to take over from here?
Because I'm double fisting it.
Oh shit!
Boy,
it's gonna be a long night.
Oh boy, Mickey Finn, you've been warned. Yeah, we've been talking about it. You've been seeing the advertisements all week. One of my favorite bands, you know, and has been for a long time. Rock and Ron. Look at the man's T-shirt. You can tell he's a fan. I know Chris
and the hat.
And the hat, of course. How for me to forget. And Chris Sinzak, I know you love Jetboy. Tonight we got the pleasure. We're going to be hanging out, having some fun, and shooting the breeze with the man that the originator. He's been with it all these years and keeps it going. The one and only Mickey Finn.
Well, we got I got a little clip here to play.
Do it, Ron. You're that
Before we
when
go
I said
into
Mickey
it.
Finn, you were supposed to be on it. You gotta get them producer skills going.
You know, you weren't here last week.
I was feeding it to you.
You know, you can't do these intros so quick.
Just play it.
All right.
Yeah, don't say you're gonna play it. Just play it.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Golly.
Now we'll bring the man on. The baddest MFer all around town.
Yeah.
Here's the baddest MFer you'll ever find. Mr. Mickey Finn.
All right on.
Yeah.
Hey.
All that build up, here he is. What's up, Mickey? How's it going, man?
It's going great. Yep. All is well. How you guys?
Good. How are you, man?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got the mohawk back.
Yeah, it's always there in one form or another. I still got hair, so thankful for that.
Right.
So, are you still in Hawaii?
No, I'm in Vegas now. I
now.
am a Nevadan.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of rock guys moving out there.
Yeah, you know, once we had both of our kids, we started to realize the cost of living and real estate in Hawaii was just out of control every year, climbing. So we started looking here. You know, we had thought about moving here in 2014 when we moved back to Hawaii from Hollywood. We had considered moving here, and we decided to go back to Hawaii. My wife is born and raised there, and I had spent a lot of years there as well. But then, you know, we have 2 kids now, and we wanted to get a nice big house. So we had bought a small condo over there, and it worked out really good. We made a big profit when we sold it because the real estate is out of control there, like most of California. So we were able to come here. We came here in October, kind of bought our dream home. You know, it's a nice big home we can spend our lives and raise our kids in, and got a pool and a 3-car garage. I have a third garage spot for my chopper, which is awesome. And yeah, so we are Las Vegas residents officially.
Right on. Well, welcome back to the mainland.
Yeah. Thanks. Good to be
So
here.
you like it better than Hawaii?
Well, you know, it's give and take, right? We don't have the beaches here and surf and stuff, but you know, we already went snowboarding once. We took the kids to the snow a couple times.
Yeah, you got some snow.
Yeah, and I never realized that Lee Canyon, which is it's a small ski resort, but it's like less than an hour from Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And so on a year when they get good snow, I mean, it's right there. I've never lived so close before. When we lived in Hollywood, we would go up to Big Bear, Snow Summit, and that was like 3.5 hours to go snowboard, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And when we moved back to Hawaii, that was kind of it, you know, when we made our trips to the mainland for Jetboy tours and shows or to visit family, there was seldom time to go snowboard. But now that we're here, that's one of the nice things. I'm looking forward to doing more. I'm also a big fisherman. I love to fish. I've always fished my whole life. And so we've got Lake Mead here. I'm looking forward to exploring in the spring.
Right.
We actually might go down to a place called Willow Beach, which is right on the border of Arizona and Nevada this weekend. So stuff like that, you know, definitely looking forward to exploring that. I also never realized too, like a lot of people, when they think of Vegas, they just think of it of like a flat desert. But
Right.
Las Vegas is really a big valley that's surrounded by mountains on almost all sides. So there's tons of national parks here. I mean, we've already been out hiking a couple times, and there's like bighorn sheep and stuff. Like there's a lot of really cool stuff that, like I said, you know, we'll miss Hawaii and the beaches and that lifestyle that we had there. But you know, my wife's mom and family are there, and we've got tons of friends, so we'll always go back for a visit and whatnot. But you know, just nothing like having, you know, a big beautiful house. I'm at that point in my life where that seems more important than the exotic life of living in Hawaii. So
right on, I can dig it.
That's cool.
Yeah, plus easier for Jetboy shows, easier for recording projects, easier for you know, travel with Hawaii. To travel anywhere, it's like add an extra 5 or 6 hours. So if we played a show back east, I had to leave like the day before, where the other guys could get up in the morning and be there late afternoon. I had to leave the day before, like take a red eye, take a connecting flight, and I would get there with no sleep. You know what I mean? So definitely easier for that too.
Yeah, and there's you know, Nashville's become kind of a bastion of rock guys from back in the day, where they've moved out here. But Vegas has turned into kind of the West Coast version of that, where like a lot of people that left LA have come out there. So it's almost
people
like
are starting to get pissed in Vegas. They're like, Californians, stay away. We don't want you. We don't want your kind over here. You know, it's funny.
And you say, but I was in Hawaii first. Leave me alone.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What you drinking, Mickey?
PBR. Pride.
Okay.
My grandfather worked for my grandfather worked for Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewery in New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
And, so I've got some cool old Pabst Blue Ribbon memorabilia. Like I have some of his factory worker shirts and stuff, and I've kind of made it a point to collect stuff. So I've got all kinds of wall hangings and bar lights and you know, bottle openers and stuff from the 50s and 60s. So, you know,
that's cool.
And it's good beer. So,
yeah, it's very popular here in Nashville.
A
lot of people love it here.
At some point in time, I feel like they got a new publicist or something, because all of a sudden it made a comeback, and you saw it at all the bars and clubs. And
it's funny how that works, because I remember when I was a kid, it was like Pabst Blue Ribbon wasn't the beer, you know, that wasn't what everybody drank. It was like Budweiser or Miller or something. And Pabst was like the poor man's beer, the cheap beer. But then all of a sudden, somewhere along the line, it all of a sudden was the hippest thing.
Yep. I remember when Coors was exotic, right?
Like
being a teenager, and it was like Coors, you know, it was like a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
Now it's like, you know, Bud, Miller, Coors, kind of all in the same category. I still like Coors though too.
Yeah.
Although the Johnny Lawrence character on Cobra Kai is bringing the Coors Banquet beer back.
Right.
I know that's become popular again.
Yeah.
That stuff's not bad.
Do you dump a shot of bourbon in the can? I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, well, I would imagine you have to drink some before you do that. But
for sure.
Give them a minute.
I first want to praise you guys for doing Born to Fly. That album really.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you guys would put out a good record, but that album exceeded my expectations. Like really well put together album.
Yeah, thank you. It was a serious labor of love for us, and I think it just had been so long since we had written, you know, a full length album project like that. We had a lot of pent up creativity. And it flowed really fast. You know, it was funny because when we did that deal with the record label, like when they hit us up, they gave us like a really short timeline that we were trying to stick to get it out when they wanted to put it out. In the end, it wound up being delayed for way longer than we thought. But we had literally like two or 3 months. We were supposed to write it all, get it recorded, you know, and turn it over to them with finished artwork and everything, which is nice that we were able to have complete control pretty much over everything, including the artwork. But it was a really short timeline, and I think we just had so much creativity, like I said, penned up for not, writing together in such a long time, that it flowed really well. I feel like, we intentionally wanted to do something that was current, but at the same time would please old school Jetboy fans.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we achieved that. And, I also think it was kind of like the next step from Damnation, which was our last full-length album, you know what I mean? So, I'm super happy with it. I'm super proud of it. We worked it, we did the videos, and everything. I'm just super stoked and proud of it too. So,
yeah.
That's cool. Is there plans for a follow-up to it anytime soon?
So what we have coming up now, Billy and I had started writing a couple new songs, but then we got approached just recently by Brian Pereira from Cleopatra Records, and he offered us a deal to do a cover record, which I like the idea of that because we've never done a cover record. Like most bands, we've always had certain cover songs that have been in our sets over the years. But we have toyed with the idea of doing an EP or something like that. But I'm excited about this. We just inked the deal, and we are going to start. It's going to be a really creative mix, as opposed to the initial idea, which was, do a bunch of our favorite songs, which would obviously be like Kiss and Hanoi Rocks and AC/DC and stuff like that. We're going to do a really abstract blend, more of songs that we grew up on as kids, right? Like even predating when, if you think back to your childhood, like we all grew up on pop music or what was on the radio. I kind of feel like if you've seen the Guardian of the Galaxies movies, that mix of like kind of 70s soul, rock, funk, but all the pop music that was on the radio of that time, that's where I kind of feel like our blend of songs is going to be. So it's going to be an interesting mix. Some of them I feel like we'll give a hard rock treatment to. Some of them we might try to do it close to the original version. We'll see what develops creatively as we get working on it, but we already kind of have a list of songs in mind, and we're going to start working on that just in the next couple of weeks here. So
cool.
Right on. That's awesome.
Can you share any of the songs?
So, I think we're going to do Dreamweaver, if you know that song.
Wow.
So there's going to be some cool ones on there.
Wow.
Jetboy doing Dreamweaver.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
that's far out.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's just a little bit of everything from that time frame, and I'm excited about it.
Right on. That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. I can't imagine you guys doing that song.
Right. And so that's it, right? It's like it's all songs that we can identify with.
Yeah.
And I feel like for the listener, there's going to be some that people may not have known the song before. And so it'll be a new experience for them. And there'll be some that people will totally remember. And we don't know, until we start working through them, we don't know what direction they're going to take. But it'll reveal itself to us as we start playing them and jamming out and seeing if we want to go heavier or which direction we want to go. So it's going to be cool.
That's
very cool. I'm excited. That's
awesome.
And
we've done quite a bit of work with Brian from Cleopatra Records. Good label and a great old friend of ours for many years. So.
Well, we're big Kiss nerds. So is there any Kiss stuff getting covered on the record?
No, I mean that like I said, that was the original. Originally put together stuff was like Iron Maiden and Kiss and AC/DC and but the thing with that is it's just kind of typical what you would expect. Yeah. And I'm not opposed to that type of thing, but it was really Brian's idea to do stuff that was more abstract and different. And we started throwing some lists of songs around, and then it started taking life, and it was like, yeah, this is going to be cool. It's going to be more fun and more creative for us.
If you were going to do a Kiss song, which one would it be? Would you pick something kind of obscure?
Well, I'll tell you what, we have an old Jetboy demo that we did of the song Hard Luck Woman.
Nice.
Wow.
If you know that one?
Yeah.
Peter Criss sings that one. One of my favorite recordings we ever did. I believe it's on one of our independent release albums. I don't know if it's the Paris Records or one of those. We literally did it with a little Fostex, I think, 4-track recorder.
I used to have one of those.
Yeah, exactly. And a drum machine. It's like super old school, but if you listen to it, it's amazing. The Billy and Fern both played 12-string acoustics, and it's like it's a great version. So, that's a cool one. We used to do Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day was a staple in our set from the very beginning of Jetboy for years to come. Mm-hmm. So, that could be a cool one too.
Yeah. If you really want to go obscure, though, you could still make the record do something off The Elder.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Jetboy does Only You.
There's definitely
make it good. Yeah,
out there for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's funny.
But yeah, interested to hear that for sure. Let's talk about a little bit about the early days. So, like, Jetboy goes all the way back to 1983, correct?
Yeah, we started late '83, and I at the time was playing in a kind of glam metal band that was somewhere between like Black Sabbath and Motley Crue called Sweet Evil. Mm-hmm. And Jetboy, Billy and Fern had already started with the drummer Ron Tostenson, and I started hanging out with Todd Crew because our girlfriends were friends. And for a minute there, I was trying to pull him into Sweet Evil. He came in and jammed with us, like kind of audition. And then he was like, nah, this is cool, but you got to check out these other guys I'm jamming with too. And I kind of procrastinated for a while. And then they dragged me out to a rehearsal, and it clicked, really fast because they had a good batch of songs already. They had 5 or 6 songs. So I was able to come in and sit down and just immediately immediately at that first rehearsal, I started penning lyrics and singing on the spot, and it clicked so well, and it went so good that as they say, the rest is history. That's how it went. I think probably in our first few rehearsals, produced some of our early hits, most of which didn't ever see the light of day, but like Little Teaser and Car Sex and In the Alley and those songs were all written like just in that first few rehearsals. So,
gotcha.
Wow.
And that was with Billy, Fernie, and Todd.
Yeah, and Ron, Dirty Ron on the drums. So that was the original lineup that stayed all the way through when Todd passed away. So,
and you guys started in San Francisco before you moved to LA in '86. Describe, everybody hears about the LA scene during the early to mid '80s, but what was going on in San Francisco at that time, or was there not much going on and that's why you moved?
No, there was a ton going on. I think that the big difference was, LA, it was like the Hollywood scene, right? And it was really focused on the Sunset Strip and those clubs for rock and metal bands. Right. Whereas San Francisco, I think, definitely like more of an artsy community as a city. The Bay Area, San Francisco and Berkeley and those areas, I think you just had a little bit more going on creatively with diversity, right? So definitely more underground bands. And at that time, there was really a big melting of, punk rock and metal and glam rock. And it was like very common to meet up with friends and, see a metal band one night and see a punk band the next night and a glam band and whatnot. And it sounds a little cliche at this point, but I do remember, for me, I was in the Bay Area in the San Francisco punk scene right before Jetboy. And so I had tons of friends, and that whole our Sunset Strip was Broadway, which was the North Beach area of San Francisco, the Broadway strip. And we had, the Stone, and then across the street we had the On Broadway, which was upstairs from the Mabuhay Gardens. Those were three key clubs around that time. And so, I had tons of friends that we used to go to all the punk shows there. Then I kind of started getting into, the metal and stuff like that, and then joined Jetboy. So, it was just cool. It was like, I would see my friends from the punk rock scene and like new friends. And when you went to our shows, there was kind of everything. There were, punk rockers and skinheads and glam rockers and death rockers, we called them back then. I don't know where the term goth, at what point it became a thing, but I remember back then for us it was like death rockers. You know what I mean? But it definitely was cool that way. And really that's how I cut my teeth in the early music scene in the Bay Area, was going to mixed bill shows. Right. So you'd have a lot of different style bands on the same bill. And I think that spread over into LA. Right. I remember early shows when we came down to LA, we might be on the same bill with Guns N' Roses, Jane's Addiction. There was variety there. Right. Yeah. But yeah, definitely San Francisco was on fire at that time, 83 to 86. I want to say it was, maybe not equivalent to LA because it's a smaller scene. I mean, let's face it, San Francisco is a 7 square mile city versus Los Angeles, which is massive, especially when you include on top of the Sunset Strip, you had Hollywood Boulevard, and then you had extending areas, even all the way to Santa Monica, where you had clubs that were key to that time as well. So I just think LA was bigger and there was more stuff, but I think San Francisco was more diverse and more artistic and creative stuff going on.
Right. Cool.
So then was the move to LA, was that something just out of convenience?
Well, it was when, look, at that time, we were selling out all the clubs in the Bay Area, and we started venturing down to LA. Then, of course, we started getting attention from managers and record labels, and then it just snowballed really fast. And so obviously our manager was like, "You guys need to be in LA. This is Music City." She was like, "I can get record people to come out and see your every show, but it's more of a hassle for them to have to come up to San Francisco. So if you guys come down here and start playing regularly, there's a better chance of you getting signed." So, a little bit reluctantly, but I think we got on board pretty quick and moved down to LA, and then it happened pretty fast too. We shopped with a couple labels and then signed with Elektra Records initially, and progressed from there.
Yeah. So interesting question from Nate Atchison. The cool. On Broadway, what are your thoughts on the Dead Kennedys? They played the On Broadway quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many times I saw DKs, and then everyone, all the Bay Area bands, but also like Black Flag and X, and the list goes on and on of bands that I saw at the MAB and at the On Broadway. We actually played with the Toy Dolls, if you know who they are, from the UK. We played with them at the Mabuhay, which was downstairs, a much smaller club than the On Broadway. And that's the beauty of that time, we played with so many, like from Toy Dolls to Bo Diddley. We opened for Bo Diddley at the Stone just because at that time we so owned the scene that we could get on any show we wanted to. Right. And so that was when we were like, "Oh, Bo Diddley, we got to get on that show," and we got on and we took pictures with him backstage and stuff. Wow. It made no sense other than, like us, there was tons of other kids that listened to like old blues stuff and stuff like that too. So it's like, it was probably good for him because he had a lot of young people in the crowd that might not have just gone to see Bo Diddley, but it's like Jetboy and Bo Diddley, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
and that's just something we've always got to enjoy, is like jumping on shows with stuff that really didn't make sense with what we were doing, but it somehow worked at the time, right?
Well, how does Bo Diddley feel about Jetboy? Did he dig it?
He did. He
Yeah?
dug it. We hung out with him backstage. We took pictures with him, showed us Lucille, his guitar, and like it was super cool.
Right
That's
on.
cool. Here's Johnny Jetson taking my next question. Did the name Jetboy come from the New York Dolls or the French song Jet Boy, Jet Girl?
The New York Dolls.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. And we covered that song over the years too. You know, definitely one of my favorite Doll songs. Yeah, I mean, I want to say when Jetboy got together, I feel like the most influential music for us at the time was New York Dolls and Hanoi Rocks, right? And it kind of stemmed from there. But really, those two were like, you know, musically and just the whole fashion sense of it all, you know. And then we also brought in a lot of punk elements. I mean, I feel like we were probably, you know, maybe a year ahead of a lot of the LA glam bands with, you know, like wearing creepers and, you know, fringe down the side of our pants. We made all our own clothes at the time, right?
Wow.
So it was like, I remember when we first started hitting out LA and playing with bands like Poison, they were kind of still riding off the coattails of the early Van Halen stuff. It was like the spandex with the Capizio dance shoes and stuff. And we were like, show up with, you know, fringe on our shirts and bolo ties and creepers. And, you know, it was like, you know, and then of course, you know, that was like the next step for them as well too. So.
Right. Well, it seems perfect that you guys would come from Hanoi Rocks and the New York Dolls, because those two bands, I think, more than anybody ever, had the perfect mix of punk and glam.
Exactly.
And then that's exactly what Jetboy is too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember there's a BAM magazine cover of you on half and Bret Michaels on half, and it really showed kind of the dichotomy between what was going on in the scene at that time.
Yeah. I do remember that too, because I think it was I feel like I just learned this recently, or maybe I knew it at the time and just forgot, but I think there was somebody else that was supposed to do the cover with him, and then
really?
make it, so I got called in kind of last minute. But I do remember identifying a big difference at the time was I showed up by myself, like with my makeup box and my clothes. And then I remember Bret Michaels showed up and he had like an entourage and all these hot chicks and like a makeup artist, and they were like doing his hair and makeup and everything. And meanwhile, I'm sitting there going like, you know, putting on my own eyeliner and makeup and like hairspraying my hair and going like, okay, cool, you know.
Wow.
You know, I'll just do my own.
Yeah.
Well, those guys, like, you know, like people don't, you know, Poison obviously broke out of that scene, but from like what I've read and seen in interviews is like they really did kind of rule the Strip for a little while there. Like they were selling out pretty much everywhere, right?
And they were great guys. We got along great with them. I mean, we became good friends with most of the LA bands that were big at the time, and I would say Poison, LA Guns, Guns N' Roses, and then a little later on, because they were a little bit after Faster Pussycat, Bang Tango, but I want to say we were kind of like we were more similar to Poison, you know what I mean? Like Guns N' Roses, we were tight for a short period. But like, you know, those guys were just, you know, pretty crazy and reckless. And like, I think, you know, sometimes it works for people and they seem to be able to keep their shit together and just be reckless and wild. But I think we were trying a little harder to, you know, keep our shit together and maybe a little more scared of the craziness and drugs and whatnot.
Right.
The guys in Poison, you know, especially Bret being from Pennsylvania and stuff, they were, you know, really a little more down to earth, and we got along good. But we shared stages together. We helped each other out. You know, they would come up to San Francisco and play with us, and we would come down to LA and play with them. We would stay at each other's houses, and it was more of a camaraderie than a competition thing. And I think we all knew we were kind of geared for success, and we all had record labels looking at us and stuff. So it wasn't like there wasn't like a heavy competition vibe. It was, just we were all having fun and doing the same thing and kind of on the same path. So
right on. Yeah, because I was going to ask about that, because Chris and I had spoke to Ron Keel a week ago, and he talked about how when he picked up the band Steeler from Nashville and went to LA, it was tough for them because it's like, those are them Nashville guys. They're like foreigners coming in on the turf. None of that for Jetboy?
No. Yeah, but I think it's like, it's 400 miles, it's the same. State, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I do feel like there's always been a bit of a competition between San Francisco and LA. In fact, I want to say at some periods over the years, there might have been a real, like San Francisco people going, fuck LA, and LA people going, fuck San Francisco or whatever. Right. But no, it wasn't like that for us. Yeah, it was a real smooth transition for us. We made tons of friends right away. We made great friends like Dale Gloria, who was the promoter for some of the best clubs we played down there and helped us out. And we stayed at her house. And, of course, Ricky Rackman. And we made tons of friends. We were easy to get along with, guys. We were not, heavy on attitude. And I kind of feel like we were kind of really nice guys still, you know what I mean? We got along with everybody and never started shit. And so I think we slid right in, did well. And it wasn't like it was an easy transition too, because it's not like we had to move to LA and start from scratch and play for 15 people. I mean, it's like from the first time we came there, we probably opened for Guns N' Roses or LA Guns or something, and we played for packed crowds. And then the next thing you know, we're headlining our own shows at the Whiskey and the Troubadour and all these places, and it was like packed. So that was kind of a luxury we had too, of not having to come to town, start from scratch, nobody knows who you were, and build it up from there. So it was a little easier for us.
Yeah. Very cool. And I always ask people that were part of that scene, like, just because, Aaron grew up in Wisconsin, I grew up in Tennessee, and it was just like we always, kind of longed to be in California during that mid to late 80s period, because it just seemed like such a magical time.
Oh yeah, it was.
And like
so short-lived.
I don't know that that'll ever be duplicated. It was just like you had to really be there to experience it. Right?
Yeah, you're probably right. I think one of the key factors to that statement is that with the introduction of the digital age and computers and internet and whatnot, you could never duplicate what happened at that time, because it was old school physical work. Right. If you wanted your band to get a following and be known, you had to play your ass off. You had to be out there mixing and mingling with people constantly. You had to print flyers. Right. and I mean, there wasn't even like a computer it's not like you go into Photoshop and like make a cool flyer. Like we were like cut and pasting flyers and then printing them out at Kinko's, and you're out there pasting flyers at 4 a.m, along the freeways and shit, So for that alone, I think it makes for a more rich experience as a musician, because you're really more involved physically with people, and you really had to work for it. To whereas now, like, you can sit back, record in your house, right, put out a record, put out a video, start to get followers, right, and then go book a show. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, which is not to say that bands today don't work for what they do, right? But I think that, coming back to your point, that was a golden era. It was very short lived, right? I mean, we're talking early 80s to early 90s. It was maybe a 10-year period, and maybe 5 of that was really focused, right? And then when that candle burned out, it was like whoosh,
it was like overnight,
very fast. Yeah.
Did you guys get approached by Penelope Spheeris to be part of the Decline 2 movie?
We did get approached by her. God, there was a short period where I was kind of dating her daughter too.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I think we were more friends than anything, but there was probably a little romance in there somewhere. But yeah, we knew her, and yeah.
Don't want to go.
Okay. I don't remember too much more, really.
Well, that movie was like kind of like a beacon for all of us that didn't live there. You know, it was like, wow, look at this whole ecosystem of bands and culture, and like, you know, that was my first exposure to Lizzie Borden. That was my first exposure to London and bands like that.
Wow, this is how Paul Stanley really lives.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, we were kind of like we were basically overlooked for the most part in that, because we weren't from LA, you know what I mean? So I think she really was focusing more on bands that had a little bit deeper roots in LA. So
yeah, that's cool.
All right, this is a question I feel like I have to ask everybody. Mickey Finn, you've been all around the world. You've met all kinds of cool, crazy people along your adventure. Do you have a cool, funny, crazy Ace Frehley story?
I don't have a cool, funny Ace Frehley story, but a lot of my friends do.
I'm sure Billy does.
You get Billy on the show. I'm sure
Billy's a huge Kiss fan.
Yeah, and we were friends with this guy Frank, who I don't know if he was Ace's manager or
Frank Munoz.
Yeah, assistant or something, right? Yeah. You know, he's got great stories about stuff, but you know, I met him probably briefly. I think it might have, the first time I met him might have been when he played the Viper Room a couple years ago. So yeah, I don't have a good Ace Frehley story. I don't have a lot of famous, you know, rock star stories.
Yeah.
But you know, there was a lot of cool stuff. Probably the best stories I could tell involve our one of our first big tours with Cheap Trick.
Nice.
Because I mean, that was like a dream tour for us, right? Because it's like fucking Cheap Trick, right?
Right. Yeah.
And those guys still, the tour we did with them was when they had their first #1 single with the song "The Flame."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a big tour for them, but they were so down to earth and they were so cool. And for us to be like a brand new baby band, like, you know, first tour bus on the road, like 3 months or whatever, they really took us under their wing. They went out of their way to be cool with us, hang out with us. You know what I mean? Like when you went to lunch to eat catering in the catering area, it's not like they were like tucked away in a dressing room. They would come right up and sit right next to you with their plate of food, you know, where you're just like, oh my God, like I can't eat my food right now, you know. And they're just like, you know, shit with you. They were so cool. You know, Robin Zander told us some amazing stories about him growing up on a farm and like having to do the like put your arm in the cows.
Yeah. That's Wisconsin talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So stuff like that where you're just like, whoa, I never knew. Like, and then they had this tour manager. They called him Wheel. Right, his nickname was Wheel. He was this huge, grizzly looking guy, like just this huge biker looking, scary looking guy. Mm-hmm. And he was the opposite. He was like trying to bust our balls from day one. And there was a lot of instances where, you know, one of them would step in and be like, "Oh, you know, leave him alone. Stop fucking with him, dude." You know what I mean? And I remember, I think it might have even been like the first show. And you know, we had met him and he had laid down the law with us or whatever. And Cheap Trick was sound checking. And, you know, we came in, you know, like all meekly, like somewhere or whatever. And Rick Nielsen like was like, you know, come on up, guys, come on up on the side of the stage, you know, and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And we went up on the side of the stage and they're playing. And then like Wheel like comes out of nowhere and he was just like, get the fuck out of here. You guys can't be here. And he tried to muscle us out of the way. And then Rick, who apparently had a plate of food on his amp, took a chicken wing, like a drumstick, and chucked it at him, and he's like, so it was just like,
Wow.
and we were just like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like he just stuck up for us so we could like, just that kind of stuff. Like,
That's awesome.
being a rock
That's
fan,
very cool.
stand on the side of the stage and watch Cheap Trick sound check for us, being so young was a super cool thing. At the end of that tour, on the last day of the tour, we got up on stage with them and we played He's a Whore.
Oh, cool.
Right. And that was a song that we had covered in Jetboy over the years too.
Nice.
And it was wild too, because we were just becoming educated about how bands on tour will like fuck with each other on the last night of the tour and play pranks on each other and stuff. So I think they had played a prank on us. I can't remember. They like fucked up our dressing room or they did something. and then so we said like, all right, we're going to get back at them. And we had this planned, and they brought us up to do He's a Whore. And we had like one of our roadies like put on a G-string and an overcoat and a cowboy hat. And like when we came up on stage, like during the song, he like came out like cowboy boots and cowboy hat. And I think Fern dressed up like a little mini Rick Nielsen and stuff. So we were like, it was cool. One of the best experiences of my life. I remember going on the tour bus, and Bunny, the drummer, had a road case, like an Anvil road case with 3 drawers, and like each drawer was filled with massive bags of weed.
Nice.
Like pillows of fucking weed.
Nice.
Yeah, so cool. I remember when we went into Canada on that tour, they got boarded by Canadian customs,
yeah.
and they got pulled aside and they had searched their whole bus. And I remember us, like the buses, like they came on ours with a dog and sniffed around or whatever and left. And I remember we were so appalled, like, if we're going to, don't they know who they are? This is fucking Cheap Trick. They can't do that. And they actually pulled him off and brought him into search and like cavity search, right?
Oh my
God. Yep, they gave us the full cavity search and everything. And we were like so appalled. And they were like, no, it's cool. It happens all the time. So, those are probably some of the best days, best stories.
That's like the ultimate meet and greet, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
If you pay a certain amount, you get to cavity search Jetboy.
Yeah, right. And I think we had bongs on our bus. Like we had our bongs, and we thought we were crafty by putting Velcro on the bottom so they wouldn't spill as the bus was moving. And I think we probably we just really stashed our stuff really good, like stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just hide it really good,
Yeah.
But they brought the dog on and sniffed around, and I'm sure the entire bus smelled like weed and booze and drugs or whatever, but they weren't concerned enough with us, so they went right for the headliner there.
We're here looking for Bunny Carlos.
Yeah, right.
Bus.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, and he must have put it somewhere or left it somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably left it and then did the show and came back over the border and picked it up again or something,
Bunny Carlos probably doesn't have trouble finding weed no matter what country
I know,
in.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Tricks of the trade.
He's always seemed like one of the most fascinating people in music to me.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a trip.
Nice. That's awesome.
Well, you guys must have played in front of some really big crowds for that tour, because the
did,
Cheap Trick was huge.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an eye opener for us. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
it's weird to think that The Flame was their first.
I know.
Yeah,
I remember at the time being shocked to hear.
My God.
All those hit songs, none of them was a #1 single. So definitely cool.
And there's so many better Cheap Trick songs than that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We actually later, for our second record, we worked with the co-writer that wrote that song with Cheap Trick, and we co-wrote "Evil" with him. Actually,
who was that?
I can't remember his name now, but I'm sure it's on the Cheap Trick record.
I'll figure it out.
That was cool because he actually co-wrote that with them, and then the next year when we were working on Damnation, we did a little co-writing with him. So
that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of the song "He's a Whore," maybe you guys ought to maybe put that into consideration for if you do the covers album, being that it's kind of a historic Jetboy song now.
Yeah, I've always loved that song too. That progression.
I'm telling you, put it on there. I want to hear the Jetboy version.
I know, right?
Yes, do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, "Feel the Shake" is kind of your calling card song. It gets that was definitely my first exposure was seeing you guys on MTV, and when that song came out. Can you kind of explain the thought behind that song, how it came about? Obviously, I'm assuming it's about kind of inspired by earthquakes, or am I wrong on that?
Yes, and just we wanted to have a heavy anthem.
Yeah.
Some of our all-time favorite songs by bands like AC/DC are very anthem type songs. But I think we I have like a love-hate relationship with the Feel the Shake record, because I feel like we were so young and we were being pulled in different directions by like record company people and the producer and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I wish the record would have come out more raw and had a little bit more of the punk energy that we had. But songs like "Feel the Shake," made it a great record, and you only get one first record. Most bands' first record isn't their best record, you know what I mean? Right. I think if we hadn't got cut short, we would have continued to develop more. But yeah, "Feel the Shake." I guess it's like when you're writing songs, and that was another thing too at the time. I mean, we wrote so many songs, you know what I mean? It's like not enough to go to a record label and have like "Born to Fly," like we wrote like maybe 15 songs and 12 of them are on the record, Mm-hmm. But when we wrote "Feel the Shake" and "Damnation," we wrote probably 40 or 50 songs. It was like never enough. They always wanted more and more, and they kept sending us in the studio to record more demos and more demos and more demos, which is why we do have a huge content of stuff that was released after on different independent labels. But yeah, "Feel the Shake" was definitely where you remind yourself, keep it simple, straightforward, catchy. Yeah. One of our favorite phrases is "Don't bore us, where's the chorus," right?
Right. Yeah.
So you don't want to have like too long of an intro, and then sometimes you hear a song that goes to a verse and then it comes back with another verse, and then finally the chorus hits way later on. So that was one where we intentionally said, let's keep it simple, straightforward, thumping, anthemic, and on that one, yeah, definitely there was no question that was going to be the title track and the big winner there. And I don't know if you guys have been following, but it's now being used by the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
Their gold celebration song, right?
I was going to say congratulations on that.
Yeah, and I mean that just happened organically. Like we didn't even know about it until it was already happening, and people started sending us videos or whatever.
That's
and
awesome.
Then Billy did get in touch with their organization, and we're in touch with them again now. They are still using it.
They do like an orchestra type version.
Yeah, that was really cool. It's one of those like Google things where there's like 5 players or 7 players or whatever doing the marching band. It's cool, man. I love it. But last season Philadelphia came really close to making it to the championship. And if they had made it to the championship, they approached us about coming out to play live.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But then they didn't, and they didn't make it. So we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna start cheering.
I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I did grow up playing hockey in New Jersey. Like I lived in New Jersey till I was 15.
Everybody root for the Flyers next week.
Yeah,
I know, right?
that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. That's what I'm
My
cheering
mom
for.
and dad are huge Sharks fans because they live in the Bay Area, and well, that's my wife. So I'm like, hey, sorry, I'm a Flyers fan now. I should be a Jersey Devils fan because we're from Jersey, but I'm like, yep, from here on out, Flyers.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. I'm a
Yeah, you're
Flyers
biased
fan now.
Yeah, and it's just cool. It's just cool to get recognized in that way and to think about the thousands of people who are getting exposed to that song who probably would have never heard it or found out about us before. So
That's cool.
There's all kinds of people in Philadelphia that didn't know nothing about awesome music till they went to the hockey game.
yeah.
They're like, "What is this?" You know?
Yeah. So hey guys, I don't know if you have too much more questions for me, but I'm actually having a date night with my wife tonight.
Right.
And,
Understood.
Yeah, we're going to the Venetian
Give
Hotel
her our regards.
for a nice dinner. Yeah, I mean, with the two kids, I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So, taking that time to date night, it's difficult. We've got family here in Vegas. My wife has a bunch of family, and we have some friends. So now we have some babysitter help.
Well, we're all dads here, so we definitely get it.
Yeah, I'm just an old dad. I started late bloomer because I was fucking around with music for my most of my life. So.
Well, would like to obviously extend the invite to come back on at some point in the future.
Let's do it, man. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. Looking forward to seeing you guys in person again when shows start happening again and stuff. And I talked to Billy today. He's playing shows with Buck Cherry this weekend.
Cool.
He definitely wants to get on with you guys too.
Oh, we'd love to have him.
Just hit him up and we'll make it happen again.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for coming on, Mickey, and we'll be in touch soon. Thanks so much.
Mickey.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you soon, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Nice. What a cool dude.
That was fun.
I love Mickey Finn. What a guy.
Good interview.
He is. He's awesome.
Oh, man.
These aren't even interviews. These are just a couple of guys sitting around shooting the shit with awesome rock star Mickey Finn.
All right.
So I can answer Johnny's question here for him.
Is that a yes?
They do still play Heavy Chevy because I've got a couple of Decibel Geek TV videos of them doing it. Awesome song.
All right.
Check it out on Decibel Geek TV on YouTube as soon as this is over.
All right.
See you
so,
live.
Aaron, can I beat you to the break today?
Yeah, you're good. Go for it. I
peed
before we started,
right.
and I just cracked a beer.
Time for a pee break. I'll be back.
See how you guys are? I'm always in it for the long haul here. People.
I know you got the big bucket. You finish the first one, you set it on the floor, and then you start the second one. You don't even have to go into the bathroom. You already got your bucket beneath you.
I got my bucket beneath me. I just got to remember to mute the mic.
That was pretty cool. I don't know how many people love Jetboy, but I'm a good fan of them. I remember, and I didn't really want to bring this up while he was on here because it's kind of a bummer, and you don't want to. It's always interesting to know because we know about that time and era of those bands like Jetboy that were on the rise, and all of a sudden, it's gone. You know, I remember, and I don't know do they have Dollar Trees in Colorado, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Dollar Trees here in Nashville. When I grew up as a little kid, we didn't have Dollar Tree until one day we did. And I went into the Dollar Tree and I found like 3 bands. They had CDs there one time. And I found 3 bands that have stuck with me, a couple other than the others. But one of the bands was Legs Diamond. I got a Legs Diamond CD for $1. And I'm talking like 1992. And I got Kill for Thrills, which came out 89, 90. And that was Gilby Clarke before he was in Guns N' Roses. That's a killer album.
Okay.
And Jetboy, this one, the one with the guitar and the baseball bat.
Okay. Yeah.
This was at the Dollar Tree. The very first time I'd ever been in a Dollar Tree in my life as a teenager. And it's like, holy shit, they got CDs. I had no idea who Jetboy was, or Legs Diamond or Kill for Thrills. But for $1 a piece, back then it's like, well, you look at it and go, well, I mean, clearly this must be a rock band. I'm going to take a chance on it for $1. And maybe that's kind of what made me, who I am, was finding those sweet deals at the Dollar Tree. Oh, right. My CDs, I love them so much. But that was my discovery of Jetboy, was finding it. And it's sad when you think back that album came out like 2 years before, and 2 years later, there's a whole shitload of them in a Dollar Tree in Wisconsin.
Well, it happens, yeah.
Right. But, luckily for me, I was able to discover 3 bands that I dig now, and Jetboy, I put them right up there. They're an awesome band. They're Jetboy is easily in my top 50. I'll tell you.
Well, what's sad probably is for me to admit that I have Decibel Geek to thank for Jetboy, because when I first started out 5 years ago filming shows for Decibel Geek TV, I had Jetboy was coming here to Colorado, and I had never heard of them.
Yeah.
So I actually remember, I think I messaged Chris, maybe you and Chris, and said, have you guys ever heard of this Jetboy? Is that someone in our wheelhouse?
There's this band. I think they're called the Jetboy. You know of them?
Should I go to this show? And
yeah.
Film this show and that, and you guys said, yeah,
dude,
they're cool. So I went there and I was blown away. They were so energetic and put on such a rocking show, which of course got on Decibel Geek TV back then. And, they were so awesome. And they came out after the show. I met them all. They were great guys, and, Eric Stacy was in the band at that time, the original bassist for Faster Pussycat.
Yeah.
He comes out and he says, yeah, I used to be in Faster Pussycat. I'm like, wow. So, those little things, you meet these rock stars, and then you find out, oh, they were in this other band that I like.
Yeah, a lot of cross
like that. The whole 6 degrees of separation there, and
right.
And so they were really cool.
Next thing you know, you're undressing Eric Stacy in his hotel room, but that's a story for another time.
That's a whole nother story. Let's not go there. Yeah.
See, now, Ron, like you said, you got Decibel Geek podcast to thank for turning you on to Jetboy, but that's not the only thing Ron's got Decibel Geek to thank for, because thanks to Decibel Geek, Rockin' Ron Runyon also lost his virginity. Ron Runyon had been married for like 20 years. No lovemaking going on at all. And then he learned about Decibel Geek, started Decibel Geek TV, got himself a Decibel Geek t-shirt. Next thing he knows, his wife, after 23 years of marriage, finally gives it up to him. All it took was a Decibel Geek t-shirt. You can get one too at clickteeshop.com. That's clickteeshop with a K.com. Get some loving, just like Rockin' Ron Runyon. Finally, Ron, you did it.
Yeah, right. Soon as she saw me in that shirt, she was like, oh, you're working for Decibel Geek now. Yeah.
You've earned this. Finally, Ron, you've earned this, is what she said.
You finally look good to me.
Oh, man. Good times.
I don't know about you. But anyways, that was my introduction to them, and I've seen and filmed them about at least 3 or 4 times after that, and they've all become good friends with me, and I can't wait to see them out on tour again. So they were awesome.
A few years ago, And I was talking to Chris about this earlier in the week. I was like, "Oh, Mickey Finn, man, he's awesome. He was in Jetboy." I said, "But I seen him with a different band one time, and this is."
I wish you had brought that up.
It's I know, yeah, we didn't have time for it. I didn't want to. We were having fun talking about whatever. I don't try to force questions no more. I learned my lesson from Ron Keel.
There's another story for another day.
That's the second one so far.
No, he just got to give me shit and do a shameless plug at the same time.
Chris, have you heard the good news? Rock and Ron Running's not a virgin no more.
It's about time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it all worked out.
Because I work for Decibel Geek, and
But this
once
was
my wife saw me in the shirt, it was all over with. Yeah.
But a few years ago, me and my buddy Tommy went and seen a couple of bands play, and it was one of them nights where I don't remember. I had been drinking quite a bit, but the opening band,
hey, John.
What's up, Gene Eugene? We went to see this band, and they were called Cold Blue Rebels, and the lead singer was Mickey Finn, and they were kind of like a rockabilly punk kind of, it was a little different than Jetboy. It was more.
Thanks, Mike.
Right on. It was more Stray Cats than it was Jetboy, I think.
Yeah,
but
he loves that stuff. Yeah.
But it still had that Jetboy attitude because it's Mickey Finn, and it was really great. And I got so drunk that night that today I had to send my buddy Tommy a message and be like, "Hey, remember that time we saw that band that Mickey Finn was the lead singer of? Mickey Finn from Jetboy." And he was like, "Yeah, dude, that was Wednesday 13 and Cold Blue Rebels were opening for him." I was like, "Thank you, Tommy." I was so drunk that night. That band played, and then Wednesday 13 played. And the cool thing about Mickey Finn is he goes, like, when he's done playing, he goes back to his merch booth. He'll meet all the fans and sign their stuff. That's just the kind of guy he is. And there's old drunk Aaron Camaro wanting to talk about Jetboy,
10 Bloody Marys in.
10 Bloody Marys in, laughing my ass off. Nobody heard the joke, but it's funny as hell.
Yes, I have heard the new Dead Daisies album.
I've only heard a couple. I've only heard a couple songs about. I like what I've heard, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm
so partial to Karabi, though.
Yeah, I'll still stick to my guns that anything Glenn Hughes does turns into a Glenn Hughes album.
Yeah,
and that's been kind of the problem. All right, here's my take on the Dead Daisies. I love the Dead Daisies all the way through. From the early stuff to the Karabi stuff to the Glenn Hughes stuff. It's all badass. So you got this band, they're fucking awesome. So you add John Karabi to it. How can you lose? It's going to be badass, Right. And then John Karabi leaves and you add Glenn Hughes to it. How can you lose? It's going to be badass. So basically, Dead Daisies are like projects for Glenn Hughes and John Karabi. But if you go back to the original singer, before it was like it's always been a super group, but the original singer was what, an Australian dude?
Yeah, John Stevens.
I like that stuff.
Yeah,
I like the early stuff.
I honestly prefer his vocals over all the other guys.
I love Karabi. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, I love Karabi, but I just like what the vibe they had going on with John Stevens.
Right, yeah, because when John Karabi comes in, to me, when I'm putting these songs on my iPod, they don't go under the Dead Daisies. They go under John Karabi. And when the new album comes out and I put it on my iPod, it doesn't go under the Dead Daisies. It goes under Glenn Hughes. Right. So when you go to my iPod and you look up, there's the Dead Daisies, and you hit select on the Dead Daisies, it's only the stuff with the original singer.
Right.
Because then it becomes the John Karabi band, and now it's become the Glenn Hughes band. Because you cannot overpower John Karabi and Glenn Hughes. It becomes them.
Right. And I'm really hoping, Karabi's been threatening to release an electric record forever, so I'm hoping that happens soon.
Yeah. I mean, well, he did. It was called the Dead Daisies.
Well, yeah, I know.
It was called Revolution.
I mean under his name.
It doesn't matter because those were John Corabi hard rock albums to me.
Yeah. But I mean, I like what I've heard with them with Glenn, but anything Glenn touches turns into the Glenn Hughes project.
It's awesome because it's hard.
Oh,
rock,
it's awesome.
So who cares? I love
Glenn
it.
Hughes' last solo record. Some of the best bass tone you'll ever
Killer.
hear.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
That was my album of the year that year.
Was it
I
really?
think one or two. It was either one or two. I remember that.
So Ace Frehley didn't release a project that year. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess not.
I
Ace
knew.
Frehley's been beaten before on my year-end list.
Oh, well, this past year, that's why I was like, wow, Aaron Camaro has changed.
It was a covers album.
Yeah.
When Spaceman came out, it was. Did I? I don't
No, you didn't
remember.
pick that number one either.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I think
something else beat Spaceman, but Space Invader was the number one album of the year.
That
when
was a
it
good
came out
record
for me. Yeah.
That's the one that actually kind of. That's the one that stands out for me from Ace's, recent solo output. I think that was a good one.
Space Invaders may be outside of the solo album and maybe Trouble Walking.
I still like Trouble Walking better.
The best solo album Ace Frehley ever came out
That's
with.
good. Black Country
Saying
Communion.
that.
Yeah, Black Country Communion was kind of its own thing. I'll give it that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even still, it's Glenn Hughes.
It's got his fingerprints all over it.
Still, you can't
when
deny the
when
voice.
I've got Black Country Communion and I've got all three of those albums on my iPod, it's under Glenn Hughes.
Is it really?
Yeah, it all is. Hey, when that Black Sabbath album is in my iPod, it's under Glenn Hughes.
Is it really?
Yeah, I put all the
Wow.
Glenn Hughes together,
Have you ever heard the Hughes?
except for Whitesnake. That
Have
gets
you-
its own spot.
Have you heard the Hughes Thrall stuff?
There's some okay stuff on there.
I
It's
like-
not
I like
that
that stuff
great.
a lot.
Do you really?
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
it on
I got
I've got it
that.
on vinyl here.
There's, I
Um,
think, I can't remember exactly, but I remember listening to it thinking there's 2 or 3 good songs on here.
It's got all the mask on the front of the album. I can't
and
remember
their
the name of
eyes,
the record right
their
now. I got
eyes
it
are
over-
superimposed on.
Yeah, it's like behind me, but I don't have it right now. I don't have any.
It's in here somewhere. I think
I
it's
don't
over
ha-
there.
I don't have a rock and roll show and tell, but you guys probably do. So you guys want to go ahead and do that now?
I got one. Ron, you got something?
No, I don't have nothing this week.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
All right.
it's just me.
It's Aaron Camaro solo. So what's your rock and roll show and tell today?
My rock and roll show and tell is that I got to write a foreword for a book. Yeah. Remember how excited I was like months ago when I got to do the Kiss and Philosophy? See, now Ron, he jumps the gun.
I did it. It's my,
No,
it's
he
my
did
fault.
it.
Damn it, Chris. I'm not
take it off.
ready to. I didn't even introduce it yet.
I spoiled it. I'm
You
sorry.
guys are terrible producers.
I've had too much to drink. I'll let Ron do the production work.
So anyway, before
Oops.
What was you saying there, Aaron?
so like the Kiss and Philosophy book. Remember when we did that and we did our special Decibel
Yes.
Geek episode to it and stuff.
Those
And I
guys
got
are coming to Rockin' Pod.
Oh hell yes, man! That's an
Awesome.
announcement right there. The Rock and Roll Profs are
Yes.
coming to Rockin' Pod 2021. See,
Matt and Cortland.
I knew we would sneak a spoiler out of Sinzak here tonight somehow, some way, and there's
There
one.
you go. Yep,
There's
they're
the-
coming.
There's the first one. Let's see if we can get 1 or 2 more before the night is through.
Ozzy
But,
Osbourne. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I was so excited when they asked me just to write the little thing on the back of the book. Man, that was so much fun for me and so easy because it was a couple of sentences. Almost a year ago, I was approached to write the foreword to this book, and I said, "Oh man, yeah, totally, I'd be honored." And then they're like, "Great, do it." I was like, "Okay, I will." Then a little while later, my friend Aaron, who wrote the book, Aaron Shafter, comes back and says, "Hey, you want to write that for me?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, totally, dude, I will." And then it came down to like, "Hey man, if you're gonna do this for me, I really need you to do it." And I was like, "Okay, man, I really will." And he's like, "Yeah, I need it by like in 2 days." Like,
Oh, wow.
holy shit, I put this poor guy off for so long, promising I was going to do this. And so like I shut off the world completely and wrote the foreword to this book. And, sometimes when you really push it to that moment of desperation, magic can happen. I don't recommend doing that all the time. Like I would definitely recommend taking care of your business in a prompt manner.
Yeah,
so
but
that
we do that all the time with Decibel Geek.
Right, and it's worked out so good for us all these years. I figured, maybe I can apply that to writing forwards for books. But this book is it's really cool. What it was my opponent the last time that I was in a crowded room way back on New Year's Eve of 2019. Adam Vanderbilt III had as a good friend named Aaron Shafter, who was writing another book because he's an author and he's a huge pro wrestling fan. And what he did was he collected stories from independent professional wrestlers, people that are not on the televised level yet, and some are getting there. Some are, do you want me to just read you the foreword? It's really good.
Why not?
I'm pretty proud of it.
I don't know where to go.
I'm going to go ahead and share this.
You guys
go ahead and put the cover of the book up and let me open this and I'll read it.
You guys jinxed me, so I'll be right back.
Well, shit. I guess I'm doing it now because Ron's gonna like duck and run. So I'll put the forward.
What does that mean? We jinxed him. All right, here's the book right here. It's written by Aaron Shafter. It's called Independent Road: A Wrestler's Journey. And as you see below, I don't realize if they do this on books or not. Maybe I don't read a lot of books, but usually I don't think it says forward by somebody. But I must have done such a good job.
It does.
Sometimes it does.
Publishing.
Okay. But I was so totally impressed by that. I was like, holy shit, my name is on the cover of the book.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I really busted it out for this. So I might be a little buzzed up right now, but I think I can do this. This is going to be your preview. This is going to be the only opportunity you're going to get for an audio version of this for now,
all right,
until Aaron decides to get it out there. But this book is available right now. Look it up on Amazon. If you're a pro wrestling fan, I think you're going to dig it, and here's why. I'll never forget the first time I saw professional wrestling on TV. I was mesmerized. I was already a fan of football with its high-impact athleticism. And I was fascinated with over-the-top rock music artists like Ozzy Osbourne, Kiss, and Motley Crue. I also loved comic books and movies with heroes, villains, and explosive conflicts. What I had now discovered was something that combined all of the very best of all my favorite things. I was obsessed with learning all that I could about how it worked and the people involved in creating the art form that so completely now captured my imagination. So many people share an experience very close to mine, that moment of discovery when they fell in love with professional wrestling. Although millions of people around the world are content to be lifelong fans, there were a select few of us that said, I have to be involved in that, and pursued the dream of being a part of a very exclusive industry. For every pro wrestling superstar that appears on national television, there are thousands of performers that entertain on the independent level, at many different levels. I have performed as an MC and an announcer for crowds of 5,000 plus at the legendary Nashville Sports Arena, and I have appeared on a show with an audience of 3. That's not a lie. An audience of 3. I've been there.
Sounds like when my band was playing.
Yeah.
He's doing the audio version right now, Eric.
I have had the pleasure of announcing for young up-and-coming performers at small shows that are currently WWE superstars. I've also shared locker rooms with journeymen that were so good it would make me wonder how the big leagues ever missed out on them. Independent wrestling is filled with men and women with different goals, aspirations, experiences, and accomplishments, and the crossroads are the live local events. This is where fans can behold the magic of witnessing the superstars of tomorrow in the mix with local legendary heroes in an intimate setting. To the loyal fans, these events can feel more important than the main event of WrestleMania. And in this book, Aaron Shafter chronicles the stories of these professional wrestlers and their journey along the independent road. So if that doesn't intrigue you to find out about this interesting book that's now available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or wherever else you get your fine ass wrestling books, that ought to do it. So that's got my endorsement. I want you guys, if you're wrestling fans, even if you're not, you might find something interesting because Aaron Shafter took the time to talk to a lot of different wrestlers on a lot of different levels, either trying to find their way up or happy where they are. You know, it's a very interesting thing. It's got the it reminds me of rock stars. Wrestling and rock stars are a lot the same. You know, they're performers. They will, what they get paid for is the travel. You know, it's not the moments that they're on the stage or they're in the ring. They do that for free. You know, because it's their art.
I'm interested to read the book because like there's like 2 documentaries. There's Beyond the Mat, which is one about wrestling, and then there's also Card Subject to Change, which is another one, but that's more about the indie wrestling circuit. Right. And you're right though. It mimics a lot of like bands trying to make it on their way up, and it shows what these guys go through. It's like you really have to do it for the love of the game. Otherwise, you're never gonna make it. Like you have to pay a ton of dues. And in the entertainment, it's just another form of the entertainment industry. You know, it's like it's very similar to rock bands trying to make it. So I'm actually interested. I'm going to buy the book because it sounds like a pretty fascinating story to me.
If you buy it and bring it to Rockin' Pod 2021,
you'll sign it for me.
I'll sign it for you.
Okay.
And that goes for anybody. That goes for anybody out there that buys this book.
Even me.
And even Rockin' Ron Runyon, you buy that book. Maybe even I'll get Aaron Shafter down there to hang out. They got a podcast. It's a wrestling podcast. But if anybody asks, you guys are a rock and roll wrestling podcast. And then you can come to Rockin' Pod. And we'll all sign the book.
That'd be cool.
But seriously, check out that book. Buy it right now. It's available.
That's pretty interesting stuff.
Heck yeah. Very cool.
All right. So,
see, I was gonna do show and tell.
Yeah, well, what do you got?
I was gonna break out the Chief Thunder chicken headdress.
The joke is so old. Don't do it, Ron. You got to come up with something new.
Well, it was taken away from me. I don't have it anymore. Didn't you guys see me? I was the one that ran across the field at the end of the Super Bowl.
In the pink thong.
I should have known.
And nothing but the headdress.
Well, that would have been more entertaining than how the Chiefs performed. But anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say that might have inspired the Chiefs to greatness.
Well, I did do pretty good. I made it closer to the end zone than the Chiefs did.
You guys are you're a fucking buzzkill.
Turf toe is real, my friend.
I know we didn't go. We couldn't do as good as the Broncos this year, right, Ron?
Yeah. I ain't talking shit about the Chiefs. I was cheering for them.
You know,
I was too.
Elway really had a great arm on his couch.
That turf toe is no joke, man. It ended the career of Sterling Sharp.
Well,
could have been the greatest of all time.
Biggest part of it was third string offensive lineman on both ends.
Yeah.
Mahomes I think they said it's like Mahomes ran for like 500 yards running for his life.
Yeah.
That game.
Yeah, really.
And that's kind of the same thing that happened the week before to the Packers because David Bakhtiari, our all-pro offensive lineman, is gone. Yeah. You know, he's hurt. That hurt us too.
This is the last thing I'll say about it, but like credit to the Buccaneers. I mean, they game plan the shit out of it. So, you know, they deserve it. You know, I hate fucking Brady.
I was going to say, here's the last thing I'll say. Fuck the Buccaneers. They basically went out and said, hey, let's build a roster of the dirtiest players currently in the NFL. And let's start with Ndamukong Suh and go to Gronkowski and Brady, and we'll just fill the team from there. If we get every dirty, rotten player – hell, what, Romanowski can't come out of retirement? Son of a gun. He would have been a great player on this team. Yeah, fuck the Buccaneers.
I don't like them, but they had a good game plan, and they beat us.
Fucking Ndamukong Suh, the dirtiest, rottenest player, maybe even human being who ever lived.
I don't think he really played dirty in the game, though. I mean, I'll give the guy credit.
He's sneaky. He did. You just missed it. He's
The Broncos are bringing Lyle
Dirty.
Alzado out next year. Yeah.
Yeah. What with
Yeah,
a
that's
Ouija
right.
board?
Lyle Alzado and Jack Tatum would have been perfect players for the Buccaneers this year.
There were some seriously questionable calls in that game, but anyway, we couldn't score a touchdown, and that's on us. Man, way to bring down the mood, guys.
Yeah, good thing everybody tunes into this rock and roll show for all the wrestling and football talk.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we want to do Smash or Trash.
There we go.
Yeah, let's do it. If I
think I
made
got
it this
4
far without taking a break, let's just knock it out.
Bring it back.
All right, here we go.
Smash or trash.
Great. So I got 4. Shit, I don't have the wheel set up.
Son of a bitch,
Of course you don't.
The wheel is the best part.
Well, hang on. Let me see if I.
Damn
Let
it.
me.
This is Smash or Trash, where we rely on you, the fine folks watching us right here tonight. We're going to play a song. Maybe sometimes we spin a wheel. I guess it doesn't matter if we do or don't.
Nah, we
because
don't have a
can-
wheel.
All right, fuck the wheel then. The wheel's stupid anyway. I've always hated the wheel. I've always
But
said
I would
that.
as bad as last week was, 2 weeks ago, as bad as last time was, I think I actually have 4 decent picks this week.
What is the board game that had the wheel or something?
Is that the game of life
Yeah, the game of life.
with the little
I'll
cars?
have to get a game of life just to
Yeah.
spin something when
We'll
he
have
does
to
it.
have, but then we got to have 10 different bands to choose from.
There it is. Fuck
Yeah,
the wheel.
fuck the
Thank
wheel.
you.
Always
Thank you,
hated it.
All right, fuck the wheel.
It's never been the best part of this.
All right, Smash or Trash. First, this is a band that actually contacted me personally on a private message on Facebook, and the band's called Hate Zero, all one word.
That's the way to do it, folks.
And his comment or
Look, Chris, personally.
It's like hatred without any of the calories.
right. It's the Michelob Ultra of bands.
Yeah, of anger and hatred.
So his message was, "Hi there, I love your podcast and been listening for a few years. My band dropped our debut album in November, just sending a link along to you because I think you might like the music. Not asking any favors, just passing along our music. Peace, man." So this is the way to do it. So
All right, there you go.
That'll get you on Smash and
that's,
Trash.
That's a
Yeah.
fair. That's asking for a fair shake, and that's exactly what you ain't gonna get a fair spin, but you will get a
Right.
fair
Yeah.
shake. Let it
so
rip.
Hate Zero is from South Bend,
Don't
Indiana.
blame us if it's trashed.
So they're from South Bend, Indiana. They released their self-titled debut album in November of 2020, and the
Yeah,
description
Twister,
is
that's it.
the description is 100 proof apocalypse rock. This is the band you've been waiting for.
Okay.
All right.
This is Hate
Rock for the
Zero.
apocalypse.
Hate Zero with
8-0.
a song called Babylon. All right, what do you think of Hate
Smash.
Zero?
Smash. I like it. I like it a lot, man. That's really good.
It's pretty
really
good, right?
Yeah, it was
really
pretty good.
Totally
Good.
smash that. Love it.
All right.
8-0. Wow.
So far, the feedback is good. So good bands listen to us.
Had a good groove on it.
I like the
dig it.
vocals
I dig
actually,
it
and
too.
usually
I do
the
too.
vocals are usually the problematic part, but I actually like that dude's voice.
That's what I wait for is the vocals, because the The music's usually pretty good. It's the vocals that'll take it over the top for me, whether
Yeah.
Whether
It
it's
kind of
good or
reminds
not.
me. It kind of reminds me of like Helmet with a better singer.
Right.
A little bit.
You don't
I
like Paige
it.
Hamilton's vocals?
And I like Helmet. I think Helmet's a great band, especially
And
on
they,
that one album. You know, but yeah, I dig that. I like that. I'm gonna check out. I want to hear more of it.
And I think the singer that contacted me's name is Minkus Rathchild. So
Fuck yeah, that
that's a
sounds
good
metal.
name.
Yeah,
I want that name. Yeah.
good name.
Wrathchild. Fuck yeah, dude. Nice job.
All right.
Minkus Rathchild.
Minkus Rathchild from Hate Zero.
You
All
think
right, so
that's his real name?
Of course,
I
it's his
hope
real
not.
name.
All right, so the next
And
band
fuck
that
my
we're gonna
mom for not naming me that.
Yeah. If that's not his real name, then my name's not. Never mind.
Yeah, but Ron, if we didn't have you, then we wouldn't have the Rock and Ron Expo.
Right.
The Rontourage.
The Entourage. All right, so the next band we're gonna listen to is called Me and the Rest. And this
Mingus
is,
Raj doesn't sound good. Yeah.
excuse me.
Almost sounds familiar. You know, you do have a mute button, Sinzak.
I thought everybody wanted to hear that.
We don't all want to hear that.
I'm just trying to be like super, you know.
I gotta clean out the inside of my headphone now. Jeez.
I'm trying to be super personal. So Me and the Rest is
There
a
you go.
hard rock band from Zurich in the Oberlin region. On
From
the road.
Where?
Zurich in the Oberland region.
Exactly.
Is that on Earth?
I was paying attention. Yeah. And I'm not
No.
sure exactly where that is.
No,
I'm
Ron,
guessing,
they're from Uranus.
I was going to guess Europe.
Yeah.
They're
Pretty
on the
close.
road
Pretty
playing
close.
the Rock and Roll Circus since 1991. They've been around that long.
Right on.
Well,
With
Road
more
dogs.
than 6,000 sold copies of their CDs and over 400 and counting performed concerts on that trail, they never once lost sight of their long-lived rock and roll vision.
Okay.
Real, authentic, and true to the core, they celebrate their music with their signature riffs, wonderful hook lines, and killer vocals. As supporting act of Soto, Molly Hatchet, Doro,
There he
Crocus.
is. That's the dude right there.
What? What am I? I'm trying to.
Minkus
read here.
Rathchild right there.
Hey, Minkus. We liked
From
it.
Hate Zero.
I
Fuck
hope
yeah,
you.
dude. Awesome.
I hope you actually caught us playing the song. They opened for Molly Hatchet, Doro, Crocus, Jane, Don Dock, and Rhino Bucket, and many other well-known established
wow.
groups. They grew to learn at the feet of the masters, polishing their live act to soon become the talk of their peers and many fans. This is Me and the Rest with a song called Riding.
Me and the Rest?
Me and the Rest with a song called Riding with the Wind.
One, two, three, four. Fly away, fly away. Feel free. I'm a really hard working man in a tough working world. I am an ant in a big ant hill. Like a hand in clockwork, like a hamster in a wheel. Gray sky, the clouds parade blue.
I'll let go a little bit.
The same thing every day. No prospect of improvement. The world keeps turning in the same direction. Humanity is blinded by the light. The constant stress and noise make us sad.
All right, what do
Pretty
you think of that?
cool. I mean, I'm not gonna trash it, but I'm not like overly enthusiastic about it.
Give it a smash. I think it's good.
That's what I say.
I'm gonna smash it too, but not. It ain't. I'm not blown away by it, but it's not. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad.
Yeah, vocals are a little lacking.
He was trying too hard. I don't know if that's
like,
just his voice or what, but the music was good and the vocals aren't bad, but a little too trying too hard. You know, maybe he just has a raspy voice or
I don't
something.
know. The vocals were what I liked about it. I like the guy's vocals. I like the way he sings, but the music to me sounds like, I don't know. I hate to use the word, but a little cliche-ish, you know, where it's like, it's just like a copy of so many other things. It's like, it reminds me of so many other things. It's like got that AOR kind of journey-ish sort of thing going on to it. That's not for me. It doesn't seem to fit. Like the music, like the singer seems like he should be singing something a little bit heavier, and the music sounds like it needs somebody a little bit prettier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the singer is almost like a accept type.
Yes,
vocal.
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Like this guy.
Well, I agree with Eric, kind of
Crocus-ish, yes.
Yeah.
I can agree with that too. You know,
So maybe if
the vocal really fits the music.
If the music was a little heavier,
Yeah.
then maybe
Might
it
have fit
would
better.
fit the vocal a little bit more.
And maybe they got heavier songs. I don't know. You
Yeah,
know, maybe this is
they
just
could.
the anomaly of it. But
Probably
yeah, in
do.
this song in particular, I don't think the vocal really fits the melody of the. It's like you got a pretty song and a rough singer. You know, you need a rough song to go with the rough singer. But I'm not going to trash it. I think it's still good enough to be smashed.
All right.
Kristen
Either
boops
way.
it.
Boo, boo,
All right.
boo.
So I got two more, and they both come from our friends at Frontiers.
Mm.
So, all right.
Can't
So
go
the
wrong
next-
there then.
I smash it. I think it's great already.
Well, we'll see.
Just kidding. All right, I'm just kidding. We
Nah,
gotta give it fairness.
Be brutally honest. So the next band is a band called Creek, Kreek. I'm not
I like that.
not a big fan of this-
KR?
I like the name.
You think so?
So
All
Creek-
right.
Yeah,
with
no,
a
that's
K.
cool. Yeah, it's cool. I like that.
That's
So,
like Click Tea Shop with a K.
Exactly. If you
Where
want
you
to get
can
laid,
get your Decibel Geek t-shirt and get laid wearing it.
just like Rock and Ron, after all these years.
See what I did there?
It only
Yeah.
took him 25 years of marriage to finally lose his virginity and all that's a geek t-shirt.
You guys didn't realize it, but when Gene Simmons made his sex tape, he was wearing a Decibel Geek T-shirt. Just saying.
Yeah, you can't see it because he's laying on it. His belly,
He's wearing-
his boobies are, it's all in the way. You can't see.
And we do not approve of him wearing socks. But anyway.
Right. And
Um,
stay tuned for Decibel Geek socks coming your way real soon.
Oh, Jesus. Cobras and Fire will have a lawsuit
Yeah.
against them.
Oh, man. yeah,
Unlike
never
the
mind.
Cobras
Never
and
mind.
Fire Socks, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Our
So,
socks are clean.
right. Frontiers Music is pleased to introduce Creek, the new band fronted by ex-Bigfoot frontman Anthony Ellis. You remember Bigfoot? We played them on the show, Aaron, not long ago.
I don't know.
A couple
don't-
years ago. They were a UK band, and
Okay.
we really liked their album. This new rock and roll machine from Ellis sees him keeping his foot firmly planted in the fertile UK hard rock scene from which he had merged. Creek was first formed in the summer of 2019 after Ellis had parted ways with Bigfoot, who was eventually disbanded. Impressed with Ellis's vocal ability from their time working with his previous band, Frontiers reached out to Ellis about continuing to work together. He had
It's
already
like
been
the
thinking
saddest
about
thing I've ever heard.
putting
Parted
something
ways
new
with
to
Bigfoot.
right. He'd already been thinking about putting something new together and was keen to create a great new hard rock band. He soon found a group of musicians in Nick Clark, Lee Andrews, and Seb Sweet who were ready to join him, and thus Creek was born. So this
a
is
K.
Creek with a K. This is Creek with a song called, and I don't know if this song's about Ted DiBiase, but it's called $1 Million Man.
Okay.
I hope it flows.
Yeah.
That's Creek with a K.
Hmm.
What do we think?
I feel like there's a little bit of, we were talking about this guy just a minute ago. There's a little bit of Glenn Hughes in there. I hear that in kind of the
Yeah, I hear
vocals.
that.
I hear a little, I think, if you're a fan of Extreme, you can
Yeah.
get into this. I feel some Extreme,
Musically.
like a little Nuno flavor in the guitar playing and even in the rhythm section. Yeah, I'm going to smash this. I think that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I liked it. And I've listened to a few other tracks from the record. It's pretty good. I
The
like it.
groove was
Wow.
catchy. I like, the singer kind of was 80ish. 80s
He was
sounding.
80 years old.
Like 80? You didn't sound like no
80s.
80-year-old to me.
He doesn't sound like a nursing home patient. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Man?
I mean, even Glenn Hughes is 80 years old, and listen to him. He fucking wails. Whatever,
He probably
Ron.
is 80 years.
All right, anyways.
Ron with your ageisms. God dang, you're a senior citizen yourself. Have some respect.
Yeah, get off my lawn, motherfucker.
Not bad. Cliche but professional. Ooh, I don't know if that's a compliment.
It kind of does have, again, I don't know. Is it the sign of how far we've come? Is there
Yeah.
nothing new to accomplish with a guitar, a bass, and drums, and
I don't know. I mean,
vocalist? I mean,
you got to decide what your limits are. I mean, and what passes for great.
yeah. I mean, I there's a lot of bands that sound like these bands. The first
It
band,
was
we'd look at the first band, we said, oh, it kind of sounds like Helmet with a better singer. And the second band, it's like, oh, it's kind of like Crocus with
Mhm.
Accept singing, but Journey songs. And this one's like, oh, it's kind of like Glenn Hughes and this and that,
well, there's nothing new under the sun.
Right. Are the days of holy shit, I've never heard nothing like this before, but it's awesome. Are those
I don't
days
know that we'll
gone?
ever hear.
I don't know
again.
that we'll ever get that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, in that case, this may be the greatest episode of Smash or Trash ever because it's 1, 2, 3 smashes in a row right there.
Yeah, I mean,
all good, all good.
I feel good about all four of it, and I think you guys are gonna like the last one too.
cool.
So, all
You're
right, and this
supposed
is
to
a.
play us one shitty one though.
I didn't. Well, there's
That's
only
okay.
there's only so much dark progressive metal that I can stand, guys. So give me a
Oh.
break.
Okay.
And because there's so many progressive bands that are terrible. Oh, Hate
Yeah.
Zero is the best so far tonight. Check that out.
I
Nicholas.
agree with that, and I
Yeah.
love Eric's profile picture, man. That's
I do
awesome. But I agree. Hate
Oh,
Zero
that's
is
my logo.
I
I
like-
that.
I like them all so far, but Hate
I do
Zero
too.
is definitely my favorite of the bunch.
So this is the last one for tonight is a band that's not gonna. I don't think I'm sure Ron knows who this band is. I know Aaron knows. You remember Inglorious, correct?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I got their album. They're good, really good.
So Inglorious put out a great record like a couple of years ago, and it was their third one. They just put out their fourth album, or it's about to come out,
Wow.
called "We Will Ride on Frontiers," and but this will be their first official recording with new members guitarist Danny Dela Cruz and Dan Stevens and bassist Vinny Cola, who joined original vocalist Nathan James. And
So the
drummer
whole
Phil
band
Beaver,
quit?
which I think Phil Beaver is one of the funniest names I've ever heard. in my life.
I take it back.
that a
I want
name
that
or-
name. Yeah.
Yeah, is that a name or a recommendation?
An activity. But makes me wonder how difficult Nathan James must be to work with as a vocalist. But he's a great singer because we
How
love
about
what he did.
Mingus Beaver? Does that work?
I'll let you start. You can start that band. But Inglorious had a great, the last record they put out was great. And
But
I was
isn't the lead singer the guy, the main dude? Isn't he like the songwriter? He
Yeah, I think
plays
so.
guitar. He's like the Tom Kiefer of the band, right?
Exactly. And I think
Okay.
he's the main writer. And I think you're going to dig this. This is the new thing from Inglorious, and this is a song called Messiah.
You're welcome, Minkus. So this is Inglorious, right? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Love-
I like that.
I love the main riff on that.
Wow, nice.
That's great.
So
I-
there you have
Total
it.
smash.
Wow.
Yeah, total smash. I like
All
that.
4.
So he's the power behind that band then, because everything they've done so far that I've heard has been badass. So he's
Yeah.
the defining key of that. So I guess he is Inglorious, and it is good.
Yeah. So it came with 4 good picks after the last
love it.
debacle, right?
Yeah, I like that, man. 4. The only tough thing about that is now we got to remember all these good bands, So everybody go check out all 4 of those great
Yes.
bands. Inglorious, Hate Zero. What was the other ones?
Creek.
Creek, yeah.
Creek
What a
with
cool
a K,
name.
and me and the what was hang on, you put me on the spot. Me and the rest.
Me and the
Which
rest.
is a-
So
Me and the rest.
the very least you can do is go like them on Facebook and follow them and check them out, because they got
Yeah.
music, they're good. Do it, be involved in the music scene. That's how we do it. I'm gonna go as soon as we're done here. I'm gonna go each one of their Facebook pages and give them a like. And if you want to give them a little extra push, tell them you heard it right here on Decibel Geek Friday Night Live. They'll check us out, smashing them on Smash the Trash, and they'll love us for it. Maybe one day we'll talk to them. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
and I'll say the Inglorious might make my best of the year list. It's that strong. From what I've listened to some of the other tracks on it, it's really, really good.
Right on, man.
And the stuff I've heard from Hate Zero, really, really good.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be checking out
Yeah,
some more.
we definitely have to get Minka Swathchild on here then.
It's Decibel Geek Friday Night Live. We can do anything we want on any Friday night. The only thing we can't do is
Sorry,
go
Minkus,
beyond-
I'm already well into here, so
go beyond 9:00, because those are the rules. You only get 2 hours every Friday night, and we are almost out of time. So, of course, as always, we want to thank everybody that joined us. We want to thank Mickey
Thanks,
Finn from Jetboy
thanks,
for
Mickey.
coming on with us. How cool
That
that
was
guy
fun.
was, man. We love that dude. And Jetboy. If you don't like Jetboy on Facebook, go give him a like. If you
Yes.
don't know about the music, go give it a listen, man. Jetboy has got some amazing stuff. I would highly recommend the latest thing they came out with, which was pretty damn good, and their
Yeah,
other stuff
Born
from
to
back
Fly.
in the day too. So there you have it. Decibel Geek Friday Night Live. Myself, Aaron Camaro, Chris Sinzak, Rock and Ron Runyon.
don't cut me off yet.
I'm gonna let you do it this time. I'm your producer. You do it. Thanks, everybody.
Because I got a of course tease for next week.
Thanks for joining us for Fast
Baft.
Christian.
Oh,
Aaron.
then Eric.
Aaron already dropped off.
Aaron. Whatever.
Bye.
All right, we got some good guests coming next week too.
Yeah, we do.
So
Thank you.
we're gonna have an awesome time. Thank you everybody for tuning in Friday Night Live. We'll see you again next week. Rock on, guys.
Cheers.